You know, guys, I saw this quote here, and I just have to stop and say something about it and shed. Every once in a while you might need to shed. And make no mistake about it, enlightenment is a destructive process. It has nothing to do with becoming better or being happier necessarily. Enlightenment is the crumbling away of untruths. It's seeing through the facade of pretenses. It's the complete eradication of everything we imagine to be true. Adyashanti. And it kind of is. And it is a destructive process. It's caused problems between me and my wife, people in general somewhat. Any of you that are out there that are a truther know exactly what I'm talking about. If you start saying something about it, it just seems to get a reaction a lot of times of people that want to keep their facade and want to believe in it. It's caused me problems with my children as well as my wife. It's not made us so much more together yet. That reparation has still got to be there. But hopefully it'll all mend itself and see that it's a reality. Hopefully my daughters, as they grow old, will find it inside themselves that the truth was there at a much earlier age for themselves, and they didn't have to live in a fairy tale land. You wonder if you should tell your kids about Santa Claus and what age you should do it. And most parents let it happen naturally and let it ride as long as possible. And indeed, I myself did the same thing. And when my oldest found out, we pushed it for a few more years on the youngsters before we finally said something. And even the following year, they wanted to believe so bad, they just kept up with the facade. So, first falls the Easter Bunny and then the Tooth Fairy and so on. Sometimes in your world, a lot falls after that once you start getting into it. I'm pretty sure that most of your scientists and most of your intellectuals that are doing research in history and archaeology probably have a real good idea that the Bible is a bullshit story. That it has a lot of truths in it, because a lot of Greek Gnostics and stuff and compiled Persian Gnostic writings are encapsulated inside of it. But I've got a lot of videos I've made here recently that are showing the new release of information and the availability through the internet that's allowed people to make connections they've never been able to make before. People used to spend 10 years researching something that they can actually get a hold of within days or weeks. And you can do a whole lot more research and start making correlations. And then things that people used to sit and ponder up under a tree like Newton for hours, weeks, months, years, and years and years can actually be looked up and cross-referenced, and you do this enough and you find the truth of things. And we're just awakening. We really are. We're still young. I don't know how to describe us in age, but I would say we're probably in that 6, 7, 8-year-old range where you come out of things and come out of a fog a little bit and start to realize reality, starting to edge into a teenager perhaps. And we all long for our past, and we cling on to it. And indeed, when we get old, we wish to only be young again. But sometimes that growing up has to happen. You try to hold your children back as long as possible and see the fairy tale world that can happen. I only justify it by thinking that what I've done is instilled them an idea of creativity. That they can have, that they can see, that started them off in one way and then twist to another on beliefs. Certain ones, everything else was straightforward, but I don't know how y'all look at this and stuff. I just felt like I had to say something and shed about this. But inner happiness is inner happiness. Enlightenment is enlightenment. Enlightenment can bring you happiness if you're seeking the fact that you find the other one to be untrue, and then whenever you find that, you find satisfaction in the fact that you were right. And in that right, you find some happiness. Whether the fact of the reality of the situation doesn't make it as such a happy thing that you think of anymore or not, if you follow what I'm saying. Hey, y'all take care. Like if you like it. Check out some of my other videos. Give me a thumbs up. Peace.